Okay, welcome back everyone to another thrilling and exciting episode of Principles of Banking. This time, Chapter 11 on sales and marketing, relationship building, and customer service in banking. So let's dive right in. Sales, marketing, and customer service, these are sort of the triumvirate of growing the bank's revenue and growing their market share. A lot of this stuff is going to seem relatively simple, especially if you've worked in sales in your lifetime. So we're going to kind of move a little quickly today. I don't know that we're going to take the whole time. I normally do. So sales, marketing, customer service. The first step is, of course, to know your customer. And when we talk about knowing your customer, we're talking about all of the different ways that you can get to know the customers that you serve. What they like, what they're interested in, what's important to them, all sorts of different things, and knowing who they are, that they are the people that they purport to be. The second step to be a successful salesperson is to know your products and services. It's one thing to know your customers, but if you don't know what you have to offer, it can certainly limit your ability to make good sales. The third skill is to match services and needs. So you match things that you have with things that your customers need. And this is sort of the serendipitous way that we help our customers. You need to demonstrate the benefits of a product. So when somebody says, well, what's the point of an auto pay service? Well, the benefit of that is that you don't have to worry about your payments. They just come out when they're ready. So that's the benefit. The features are different, but the benefits are what sells. And then you need to anticipate questions or overcome objections. So if you can anticipate questions that you're going to get in the sales process, it'll help make you a better salesperson. The market-driven strategy. The market-driven strategy is more broad than just an advertising strategy or a marketing strategy. The market-driven strategy is something that suggests that the business operates for a specific purpose and everyone is on board. And that's what we call the total company effort. A total company effort means that every department sees itself as helping customers in some way. If they're not helping customers directly, then they're helping someone else who helps customers. Part of the market-driven strategy is customer satisfaction. And banks need to recognize, just like any other business, that they need to satisfy their customers in order to keep on growing their customer base and keep the customers happy. Profitability is an important part of the strategy, as in we need to design products and sell services that are profitable. It doesn't make any sense to sell something that you can't make any money on or that costs so much that you can't sell it at a markup. And then lastly is social responsibility. Part of this is government mandated, as in the Community Reinvestment Act, which requires banks to have some social responsibility. Those things are a record of lending in their communities, a record of meeting community credit needs through qualified investments, including and excluding lending, and a record of delivering retail banking and community development services. The next thing on our list is meeting customer expectations. And in order to really get somewhere with sales and marketing, we need to meet our customers' expectations. There's certain things that all customers of any bank or in most businesses expect. We'll just kind of go through these in order. Responsive service and problem resolution. Customers don't expect nothing to ever go wrong, but they do expect that when it does go wrong, the employees of the bank or of the business will help them resolve their problem. Customers expect competent staff, people who know what they're doing, who know their business, and who aren't taken by surprise by questions and requests. Customers expect courteous treatment, that they're going to be treated in a nice manner. Reliable services. We expect that the services will do what they say they do. that the company will offer viable products and services. They're things that I want, that I can use, that make sense, and that are affordable. Oftentimes, customers of banks, at least, and many other businesses for that matter, expect professional appearance. They don't expect people to be dressed in a sort of slovenly way, or especially in financial businesses, typically they expect their salespeople to be dressed in a certain way. Bank customers expect to have access to their funds and to staff, to not have to seek them out, and to be able to get to what they need when they need it. And lastly, customers expect financial privacy. They expect that their information is secure at a bank. Cross-selling and referrals. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but it's useful to think of cross-selling as the old, would you like fries with that? Customer comes in and they say, I want a Big Mac, and you say, well, would you like fries with that? That's an example of a cross-sale. In some financial institutions, they may sell a loan and insurance, or and advisory for investments, things like that. And a referral is when, if you can't actually complete a sale or answer the questions, you refer them to a department that can. Using our fast food analogy, we would say, well, I cannot provide you with the French fries, but allow me to refer you to our French fry department, who would be happy to help. In banks, that typically means somebody who has a different license or qualification to sell certain products like mortgages and investments. The purchasing process. So customers buy things, and there's a process that starts from I started it, and now here's what I've got. First part is needs identification. We first need to identify what it is that we need or can use, or want sometimes, but we all kind of refer to that as needs identification. The second step is pre-purchase searching. Now, typically customers will, especially nowadays, they tend to search for their own items in the pre-purchase stage. Things like Amazon, like car buying websites. When my wife and I have bought a car in the past, we know pretty much what car we want before we get to the dealership. Features and benefits. These are aspects of a product that allow us to make a decision on what that product will do and give us a reason to buy it. And then comes the purchase decision. And we finally decide to sign on the dotted line and make the purchase. And then after that, we tend to reassess our decision. Was it a good decision? Was it a bad decision? Do I have buyer's remorse? And that sort of thing. Banks, like any other business, engage in product development. And product development is an area where we develop a new product that we did not offer before. And there are several stages in the product development process. So the first is conducting marketing research. Is there a need for this? What do our customers, what will they think about it? Or do we have competitors in the market? That's sort of the profile of customers, the market, and the competition. We have to kind of get an idea of what it is that's out there before we go ahead and start something. Then we solicit new ideas, and that might be from employees, it might be from market research firms, it might be from who knows where. Then we start to screen the product, and we screen the products. What we mean by that is that we compare the bank's mission and the bank's objectives against what the product will do, and does it fit. Then we test the concept. Promising idea is tested through focus groups or pilot programs where we will roll out a product in a few branches and not all of them. Then we perform a business analysis where we analyze the market share of a product, the product demand, and the compatibility with our goals. Finally, we start developing a product. We develop the features, the benefits, what the product will look like. We start testing and marketing it. Then we introduce the product to our customers overall. And then lastly, we kind of evaluate the project, evaluate the product. How did it go? Did we like it? Did it do what we set out to do? And lastly, our laws and regulations section of our chapter, which is always one of our favorites. A couple of big laws here in regards to sales, cross-selling, and referrals. First one is called unfair or deceptive acts or practices, sometimes referred to as UDAP. Now, UDAP means that the banks cannot engage in these activities. And in order to be considered a violation, a practice has to meet with these following areas. So the first of which is it's likely to mislead. Something that you did, an advertising strategy or a sales strategy, was likely to mislead your customer. And when we say customer, we mean a reasonable customer. As somebody who's not, we don't expect them to be overly intellectual, have a ton of expertise on financial practices. Your average reasonable customer, would they have been misled by this? Then it has to be a material practice. A misrepresentation, omission, act, or practice is deceptive if it affects the customer's choice or conduct. And it has to have a material influence on the customer's choice or conduct. It also has to cause substantial injury. So one example of this the book mentions is that it would be claiming there are no fees in a promotion, but then mentioning fees in only small print at the very bottom. And this could cause substantial injury to many people because they would have been charged fees that they were told in big bold letters there were no fees, but then in the fine print there actually were fees. Another area is that the benefit of a product must be less than the harm caused by it, or less than the injury. And lastly, it cannot be a reasonably avoidable injury. So if you could avoid the problem, chances are it's not UDAP. But it has to be reasonably avoidable. It can't be that you have to jump through 35 hoops, stand on one foot, and recite the alphabet in Latin. That would be not a reasonable way to avoid an injury. Do not call, do not fax. These are newer laws that ask consumers ask not to be called or faxed or now emailed even. The CAN-SPAM Act it sets rules for commercial use of electronic mail, and what it really sort of started it was the non-solicited pornography is the sort of the NSP version in CAN-SPAM, which is to say that we do not want to receive things we did not ask for, especially ones that are pornographic or some sort of salacious content. And then lastly is pre-screening. Banks pre-screen customers for marketing purposes, but the banks have to abide by several rules that ensures that they're not using information inappropriately to do pre-screening. So that is pretty much it. That's the whole of Chapter 11. I hope you enjoyed it. There's an interesting video on the comically unsuccessful bank manager, and in the section on the assignments. I hope you enjoy that. A couple more chapters to go and the semester's over, so good job everyone. And again, as always, if you have any questions, comments, etc., feel free to shoot me an email or what have you, and be happy to help you out. So that's it. Have a nice week.